you doing, man?
Obamacare, but you have never in these 4 years come up with a plan, a comprehensive plan to replace Obamacare.
Of course I have.
Well,
I got rid of the individual mandate.
I'm going to give you an opportunity.
Excuse me,
sir.
Chris,
You're
that was the
debating
worst
him,
part
not
of
me.
Obama.
Let me ask my question.
Well, I'll ask Joe. The individual mandate was the most unpopular aspect of Obamacare. I got rid of it.
I'd like
and we will protect
Mr.
people
President,
with
I'm the moderator of this
conditions.
debate, and I would like you to let me ask my question, and then you can answer your
Go ahead.
So my question, sir, is what is the Trump health care plan?
Right. Well, first of all, I guess I'm debating you, not him, but that's okay. I'm not surprised. Let me just tell you something. That just a tiny fraction.
As I say, this is open discussion.
No,
let me
but
ask
this is
you about,
big.
You'll be happy,
big stuff.
sir.
The fact of the matter is, I beat Bernie Sanders.
Not by much.
I beat him a whole hell of a lot. I'm here standing facing you, old buddy.
Pocahontas would have left 2 days early. You would have lost every primary.
All he knows how to
on
do
Super
is hurt.
Tuesday. You got
Look,
very lucky.
here's the deal. I got very lucky. I'm going to get very lucky tonight as well. Here's the deal. Everything he's saying so far is simply a lie. I'm not here to call out his lies.
But you
I just
agree.
want to make sure.
Joe, you're the liar.
I
graduated last in your class, not first in your class. You just lost the left.
Number two.
You just lost the left.
Folks,
absolutely
folks, do you have any idea what this clown's doing? He has never done a single thing.
As you might know, but probably don't.
Gentlemen, you realize if you're both speaking at the same time.
And it's too Listen, this is the way it is.
He has no plan for health care.
Of course we do.
He does not have a plan. He doesn't have a plan. This man doesn't know what he's talking about.
All right.
You should go out and vote. You're in voting now. Vote and let your senators know how strongly you feel. Vote now.
Are you going to pack the
Make
court?
sure you, in fact, let people know
He doesn't want
you're
to
a
answer the
senator.
question.
I'm not going to answer the question
Why
because
would you answer that
because
question?
the question
You want to put a lot of new Supreme Court justices, radical left.
Will you shut up, man?
Listen, who is on your list, Joe?
We have ended this segment. We're going to move on to the second segment.
That was really a productive segment, wasn't it?
The second subject is COVID-19. Let's try to be serious about it. Why should the American people trust you more than your opponent?
40,000 people a day are contracting COVID. About between 750 and 1,000 people a day are dying. It is what it is. Well, it is what it is because you are who you are. That's why it is. Still doesn't have a plan.
Well,
I laid out back in
it's
March exactly what we should be doing.
It's China's fault, but it was China's fault. He's a racist and he's xenophobic. President Trump saved thousands of lives. President Trump did a phenomenal job. The governors said I did a phenomenal job. President Trump did a phenomenal job. We did. We're weeks away from a vaccine. It's just fake news. They give you good press. They give me bad press. I don't care. I've gotten used to it. You don't have it in your blood. You could have never done that job. H1N1, you were a disaster. Your own chief of staff said you were a disaster. You would have lost far more people. Far more people.
And
you would have been
and by the way,
late.
your own
Well, I've spoken to the companies, and we can have it a lot sooner. It's a very political thing because people like this would rather make it political than save lives.
By Easter, this would be gone away. By the warm weather, it'd be gone. Miraculous, like a miracle. And by the way, maybe you could inject some bleach in your arm, and that would take care of it.
That was said sarcastic.
And so here's the deal. They're the people. And by the way,
I spoke to the scientists that are in charge.
By the way,
they will have the vaccine very soon.
He panicked, or he just looked at the stock market. A lot of people died, and a lot more are going to die unless he gets a lot smarter, a lot quicker.
So,
Mr. President,
did you use the word smart? So you said you went to Delaware State, but you forgot the name of your college. You didn't go to Delaware State. You graduated either the lowest or almost the lowest in your class. Don't ever use the word smart with me. Don't ever use that word.
Oh.
Yeah, there's nothing smart about you, Joe. Let me just tell you something, Joe. Let me shut you down for a second, Joe, just for 1 second. Okay? You have to understand, if you look, I have a mask right here. I put a mask on, when I think I need it. I wear masks when needed. When needed, I wear masks.
okay, let me ask.
I don't wear masks like him. Every time you see him, he's got a mask. He could be speaking 200 feet away from it. He shows up with the biggest mask I've ever seen.
Vice President Biden, you are holding much smaller events with...
Because nobody will show up.
People with...
What's true. Nobody shows up to his rallies.
All right. And then,
we have tremendous crowds, as you see. And Joe does the circles and has 3 people someplace.
okay.
He's a fool on this.
If you could get the crowds, you would have done the same thing. But you can't. Nobody cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on to the
Nobody cares.
Gentlemen, can we move on to the economy?
Yes.
President Trump, you say we are in a V-shaped recovery. Vice President Biden, you say it's more of a K shape. What difference does that mean?
So we built the greatest economy in history. We closed it down because of the China plague. Should have never happened from China. We're doing record business. You know
We're going to
how
get
I found
back,
out? When he took a
gentlemen.
phony
We're going to
ad.
get to your economic plans going forward in a moment. But
Because
I
you
wanna-
weren't
Why did you do it over
because
the
you
last
weren't
25
president
years?
screwing things up.
You were a senator. And
You're
by
the
way,
worst
you were a
president
vice-
America has ever had.
Hey,
Come
Joe,
on.
let me just tell you, Joe. I've done more in 47 months. I've done more than you've done in 47 years, Joe.
Mr. President, we're talking about the economy. I'd like to ask you about your plans going forward.
Credit.
Did
There was a
Burisma pay him
report.
$183,000 a month with no experience in energy?
Mr.
Look,
President,
no
my
job?
son did nothing wrong at Burisma.
I think he did.
and
Mr.
The only
President.
guy that
No, go ahead, Mr. I'm listening to you.
People under.
He got $3.5 million from
testified.
Moscow.
Ted,
So
you get
here's
the,
the
wait a
deal.
minute. You get the word, Mr.
Well, it's hard to get any word in with this clown. Simply.
Why did
not
he
true.
deserve $3.5 million
It
from
did-
Moscow?
Look, here's the deal.
Most
This
of
is not
Mr.
about
President.
my
Coming
family
and
or his
helping us
family.
with
It's
government.
about your family.
Then
Not
you
here.
should
All right,
Not
that's the,
about
end of
here.
the, that's the end of the
Shouldn't have
segment.
taken the money.
We're moving on.
He did-
No,
He
stood up
the answer to
and
the
he
question is no.
threatened Ukraine.
No, sir.
With $1 billion, if you
That
get rid
is
of
absolutely
you know what, you're- wait,
not
stop.
You're on
true.
tape
You're-
doing it.
you're gonna
on
have-
tape.
True.
Gentlemen,
Is-
let's please continue on.
The nation can't stay divided. We can't be this way. And speaking of my son, the way you talk about the military, the way you talk about them being losers and just being suckers. My son was in Iraq. He spent a year there. He was not a loser.
Really?
And I resent.
Are you talking
like
about
hell.
Hunter? I know Hunter.
Yeah,
Hunter
you know,
got thrown. Hunter got thrown out of the military. He was thrown out, dishonorably discharged.
That's not true. He
For
wasn't dishonorably.
cocaine use.
My
Made a
son,
fortune.
my son,
And he didn't have a job.
My son had a drug problem. He's overtaken it. He's fixed it. He's worked on it, and I'm proud of him.
But why?
We're
And I
going to
think
leave
he
it
does
there.
too.
To be continued as in more debates as we go on. President Trump, Vice President Biden, it's been an interesting hour and a half, and good night.